back, everybody, to Deck Pass Live. We're covering the final day of the Pan Pacific Championships. But before we do that, we want to talk about that shocking DQ in the men's 400 free relay last night. Blake Puroni and Zach Apple, you see them. That was Zach diving in the water instead of Blake, and Blake stepping in instead of Zach. And Lindsay Mintinko, the national team managing director, talked with us about that shocking DQ.
We obviously had some hiccups, and the fact that there was just a simple miscommunication that obviously was a big mistake. But the athletes really stepped up. They had a great swim, and this was not their fault. And so we just want to make sure that that's clear, that they swam their hearts and souls out for that relay, and so it's just really unfortunate.
Moved on from day 3. We hope everybody moved on, because day 4 was a big day in the pool at the Pan Pacific Championships. And so hello everybody, this is day 4. I'm Jeff Commings with Amy Van Dyken. And it was really, I'm sure it was really tough for those 4 to even go to sleep, because they're thinking about what went wrong, how could we have done it better. And also thinking, okay, I've got to sleep. I've got to get ready for tomorrow.
Well, exactly. Plus, we talked about it yesterday. They've also got interviews. They've got drug testing. They've got all of that. But here's another thing, too, that happens, and you know this as well as anybody. They get there in the team room, and everybody starts talking about what happened, what was it. And so it becomes almost a bigger thing than it really was. Yeah. And I know that I've been in situations like that on teams. So it was really nice to see everybody come back and get together as a team.
And to, hopefully, I hope they stay out of social media.
Please stay off social media.
Don't get on social media until the meet's over.
That's right.
I'm glad we didn't have social media. I would have been just a wreck.
I probably wouldn't have had a career.
All right, so let's talk about the racing tonight. And some of you love this, the 50 freestyles.
Yes.
And we got to start off with the men's 50, which featured Caleb Dressel and Michael Andrew racing next to each other. Now, Nathan Adrian did not swim in the prelims. He elected to scratch the race.
Right, which is really interesting because he's such a great 50 freestyler. But, you know, I mean, you got to know when 2 other guys are going to beat you out that, you know, maybe just take a break.
And get ready for the relay.
Exactly.
So you see Caleb and Michael there in the yellow lane lines, and after 25 meters, Michael just turned on another gear, and look at this half body length over Caleb Dressel, the reigning world champion. This is a big boost for Michael, I think. He's got a personal best, and that's his first senior level international medal. And we heard from Michael about that race afterwards.
I feel like the beginning of the week started off great in prelims. Finals, the first 2 final sessions were kind of rough, and I feel like that had to do with maybe time zone or something. But very quickly I took the effort in changing my mental frame of mind and being able to prepare for the meet still that I had ahead of me. So I'm really happy with the swims.
You know, it's interesting, Jeff, that he was talking about the time zone, and we heard about this from Katie Ledecky the other day. It's a 16-hour difference for these guys, and it's a big deal. But I love what he said also, talking about he had to get back into his head, just kind of put it aside, and I think a lot of these athletes have done that, and they've done a great job.
Yes, and as you know, especially being a sprinter, like 98% of the race is mental anyway.
Right.
And so you've got to be in the good mental headspace, even if you want to even compete for a medal. And so you've got to say, okay, I'm just going to put this behind me. It is what it is. I'm going to go out there and do the best that I can. And Michael's not the only person who's been able to do that. And I know that a lot of people who aren't swimming as well as they want it, I'm sure they're able to really try to put that mental focus on. But congratulations to Michael for being able to do that, because, you know, it's his first senior level meet, and it could be tough racing against guys who have done this for many years.
Yeah, exactly. And this is giving him a lot of, I think, confidence and experience leading into Tokyo 2020.
Yeah. So the next race was the women's 50 freestyle. It featured Simone Manuel against Kate Campbell. Really good race matchup there.
Right, a really, really good race. And, you know, Simone has had 2 pets, and now it's down to 1 pet. There's her pet snails, and her boyfriend's been watching them. And he accidentally was loving Zulu a little too much and cracked his shell. And Simone was talking about it on Instagram Live, and, you know, she was really upset. I mean, these snails, they mean a lot to her.
Yeah, let's hear what she had to say.
I guess something that would surprise my teammates is that I have 2 pet snails. Shaka is the bigger one, and he comes out of his shell more often than Zulu, who is the smaller one. I just went out on a walk to a preserve, and I found them on the ground, and I picked them up, and I thought I was going to keep them for a week, but ended up keeping them for longer.
What do you feed them?
Carrots.
They like carrots?
I guess that's the only thing I really feed them. The first thing I ever fed my snails was some leftover pita bread from a restaurant, but after that I've just fed them carrots.
All right, so we want to just, our hearts go out to Zulu, rest in peace, and I'm sure Simone was dedicating this race to her beloved snail. Not just Zulu who's gone, but Shaka who's still with us.
Well, exactly, because they do mean a lot to her, so she definitely had that in the back of her mind.
And of course having a race against Kate Campbell, who is just had a phenomenal meet in third lane 4. Simone's to her left. And Simone was right with them. Everybody's right with them at the 15. And then here we are coming up to the 25. And all of a sudden, Kate Campbell says, goodbye.
Yeah, she kicks it into another gear, which is really unusual for sprinters to do. But she's done it. Michael Andrews done it. Simone Manuel also does it. Look at this. Both of them ahead of world record pace.
And then the last few strokes, world record gets away from them. But that's a great swim for both of them. 23.81 for Kate and 24.22 for Simone, just 0.3 off her personal best. Not a bad swim for Simone. I mean, given that, you know, she's one of those people who's had to really suffer from the time zone, and I think she hasn't fully adjusted. But she has raced her heart out all week. I mean, she's had to swim in in 3 relays,
right.
The mixed relay, the 4 and free, and the 4 and medley. And then just having to see Kate do so well, I'm sure in a way she's happy that Kate's kind of broken out of the doldrums that she had, but obviously you were hoping that you could be able to get your hand on the wall first.
Well, of course, and she always wants to win. I mean, that's why you go out there to race, right? So I think what she's going to do, Jeff, is take these races back. She's going to look at them with her coach, Greg Meehan, and I think that they're going to kind of tailor a program around that so that hopefully she'll be able to beat Kate in 2020.
Yeah, and I'm sure you did that after Pam Paxton 95. And then you knew what to do when it came to 96.
Exactly. Losing, it teaches you a lot about yourself, I think more so than winning, and it really does light a fire under you. So, yeah, that fire is now lit under Simone.
That fire was lit for her, and it turned to gold. We're going to hope that happens for Simone in 2020.
It will.
All right, so let's talk about another person who got some fire lit under her, Kathleen Baker. After that disappointment of not getting the gold medal in the 100 backstroke, she came to the 200 backstroke with a mission, and she had a lot of competition. She had Kylie Maas from Canada, Emily Seebohm, her teammate Reagan Smith, Taylor Ruck. It was just going to be a really exciting race to watch. Any of these 5 could win the race, and there is Kathleen Baker walking out. You can see she's got a little bit of confidence, a little smile. That kind of helps. And she led from start to finish. I mean, Kathleen took this out hard. Here we are with 50 meters to go, and she's got a body length over the field. And you know Reagan Smith knows how to close. That's one of her trademarks, and I know Kathleen knew that. And I'm sure Kathleen is just, it hurts right here. The thing about backstroke is your legs are burning. Even though your face is out of the water, you get a lot of breath. It's a struggle here these last 15, but Kathleen's doing awesome.
She really is doing well, and you can see that white water behind her. And like you said, the reason that it's so hard on the body is because your legs take up the most amount of oxygen. And so there she is, finished, just pushing it. So exciting to see her win, especially after that tough 100 backstroke. Congrats to her and to everybody else from the United States.
Yeah, and Taylor Ruck continuing her great meet with a silver, and Reagan Smith just a few hundredths off her best time, which is also a world junior record. So Reagan Smith having a great meet as well. So Kathleen Baker talked about how exciting it was to be able to get her hand on the wall first.
Yeah, I'm super happy with that. Getting a win and the best time here has been amazing. It's been a hard adjustment coming off of nationals and traveling so far. So coming into this race tonight, I just wanted to leave whatever I had left in the pool pretty much in the 200 back, and I really went for it the first 100 and did my best to hold on at the end, and that strategy worked for me, and I just think that pushing it as hard as I can. I had some trouble getting out of the water at the end, but I'm very happy with it.
All right, and the next race right after that was the men's 200 backstroke, and Ryan Murphy had a mission too, not just to win the race, but I think he also had on his mind that 153.3, which is the world's best time by Russia's Evgeny Rylov. And Ryan took this out hard. He was about maybe a few tenths off Aaron Pearsall's world record pace at the 100, and I know that's a fast pace. And Ryan just, look at him. He's almost got 100 backstroke turnover pace right there.
And you know, it's interesting. These guys have nothing to lose to take it out fast, right? Just see what it does. And look at this. I mean, Ryan still sitting up nice and high in the water, nice white water behind him, still turning over beautifully.
And Raisuke Irie goes in there for second. Look at Austin Katz too, and they're in lane 5. He got his hand in the wall there for third. His first senior level international meet. He was a freshman and won NCAAs this past March, so he has been having a great year. So congratulations to Austin. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to swim fast enough to get one of the top 2 times for the United States, so he won't be able to go to the World Championships, but he'll get World University Games spot next year. That's good enough, I think.
I think it's good enough. Another chance to have international experience for him, and to be on a stage that is not as pressure-filled, if you will, as the Pan Pacifics or the World Championships. Right. So he'll be able to rock and roll.
Yeah. So let's hear from Ryan about that race.
Yeah, it was awesome. I haven't gone to best time in backstroke in 2 years, so to get that was really nice for me, and I think that's kind of a culmination of a lot of really good work, and something I could definitely build off for the next 2 years. And so it was an awesome race. I swam in a really painful way, and so I'm gonna learn from that. But overall, really happy with the time.
So Brian said he swam that in a painful way, and we talked about it with Kathleen. Those legs really hurt, but sometimes you really have to kind of change things up. And something like the Pan Pacific Championships, where maybe you can kind of experiment with something and say, okay, let's see what it's like to just take it out a little harder than I want to. And it turned into a personal best for him. So I'm sure he's got to be thinking, maybe this is going to be the way it is.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe Kathleen as well. And so what will happen is they'll go back home, they'll start training, and they'll start training for that a little bit more, maybe doing more kick sets and, getting those legs ready to rock and roll and burn. Yeah,
they know it's going to hurt. I think you just got to be accepting of it and just know that, you could still do it. You can just get your hand on the wall.
Yep, there you go. It's all that matters.
All right, let's take a little break, and when we come back, Zane Grothe goes for gold in the 800 freestyle.
I have the right to
respect,
safe relationships, and a positive environment. We stand together.
We are USA Swimming.
As a survivor of abuse, I urge all of us to prevent it in the future and become champions of safe sport.
The free 1-hour Club Leadership and Business Management School 101 course is a great online introduction to effective club governance. USA Swimming is providing this valuable resource to give information on how to run a swim club.
I've always loved Superman when I was little, and the place where I can pretend to be Superman still, even as a big kid, is in the water. Just being able to fly around and turn where I want to turn, and it was just an amazing feeling.
All right, welcome back everybody to Deck Pass Live, where we are covering the final day of competition at the Pan Pacific Championships in Tokyo. And we're coming to you from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Jeff Commings with Amy Van Dyken. And again, this was just such an exciting day 4 because we had not only the 50 freestyle sprints, we had some 200s, and then we had the really long events. And this was a really fun day for us because now that the women's 1500 and the men's 800 are Olympic events, I think the microscope and the magnifying glass that are put on those 2 events now are a lot brighter, and people are putting more stock into them.
Yeah, and I think a lot more people are wanting to watch them and wanting to swim them. Katie Ledecky, of course, being one of those premier names in the distance events, is really getting those young ladies to want to swim more distance events, which is great. And as a result of that, you're seeing what is happening at Pan Pacs. I mean, everyone's wanting to watch these races. Yeah, and as we saw in the 400 freestyle, I mean, it motivates somebody to finally break 4 minutes. And so Katie's not alone, that 4-minute barrier now. Yeah. And in the 1500 freestyle, she was the only one to break 16 minutes in the race, 15:38.97. A lot of, like 18 seconds off the world record she swam in Indianapolis. But that's okay. It was been a really tough week for Katie. We'll grant her that she still swam her heart out, and she's going to go back and learn from that. I really want to say that Leah Smith swam a really gutsy race in an earlier heat, 16:00.82. So congratulations to Leah. And then we're going to go into the men's 800. I really loved watching this race. It was so fun. And I wanted to see what kind of matchup Zane Grothe was going to have with the 2 Australians that he was racing with in the 400 freestyle. Jack McLaughlin and Matt Horton, you see them up there.
they're nowhere close to Zane Grothe. It's actually his teammate Jordan Wilimovsky that's giving him chase. And throughout this whole race, Zane Grothe was right on American record pace. And here he is with the final 25 in a full sprint.
And look at this. I love seeing two Americans in a distance event going for the silver and the gold. This is just outstanding for young American swimmers and for the future of distance swimming.
And he gets his hand on the wall, 7:43.74, just 14/100ths slower than the American record after 800 meters.
That's a lot. I mean, if you say that in a 50 free, you're like, oh, that's forever. But when you say that in an 800, that is so close. That's basically not trimming your fingernails the night before, right? Leave them long.
Leave them long, Zane. You can have really long nails. If it gets you an American record, do it. So we wanted to hear from Zane what he thought about swimming that race.
Yeah. Overall, I'm very satisfied. You know, I'm always hungry for more, and you could have maybe seen it on my face after a few races, but. Overall, I'm very pleased, especially being able to finish it off very strong. My goal coming in was about a drop a full second, trying to get that American record. I think I missed it by 0.14, but I had no idea where the championship record was, so that's always a nice goal. I was out a second slower at the halfway part than I was at Nationals because I was a little cautious. I was waiting on these guys, waiting for someone to make a move, and by that point, I made the move myself.
And what's really exciting about this, Amy, is that time is #2 in the world.
Which is so amazing. Now, you know, he was talking about swimming alone and he was waiting for those guys to come up. Something that I think that he needs to learn from Katie Ledecky is the fact that you can swim alone and you need to pace yourself and watch your coach over there on the sideline because Katie does it basically all the time. So I think if those two get together, you know, maybe he'll be more comfortable swimming out ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, and he's got to be comfortable with that because there's going to be, you know, in distance races, there are a lot of swimmers these days, like Jordan Wilimovsky, who back half it, so their second half of the race is slower, and so they're way back there. And if you're like Zane and you want to take it out hard, you got to be comfortable with that and not say I'm going too fast and back off because you never know, you might get caught and passed.
No, exactly. And you've got to know your body and know your pacing, and that's what you work on in practice, and that's what you work on also in the warm-up. So I think that he learned from this, and he'll be a little more comfortable, and I think we will see that 0.14 drop.
Yes, 0.14 is nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, so the next race we're going to show you is the women's 200 breaststroke. Another great race here featured two Americans as the top qualifiers. Lily King on the left, Micah Sumrall on the right. Some of you have asked us, who's Micah Sumrall? I've never heard of her. Well, you may have remember watching the 2012 Olympics, and Micah Lawrence, that's who that is. She's now married, and so she changed her last name, and she is still doing phenomenal after taking almost like a year and a half off to deal with some mental issues, and I think that she's really come through those. And look at this, she's just swimming with so much confidence. Last 25 meters, you see Lily King on her left, Satomi Suzuki, who was a 2012 Olympic medalist in the 200 breaststroke. They're really trying to creep up on Micah, but Micah is staying within her comfort zone and gliding on that stroke.
And she's got a beautiful stroke, and you can see Lily King above her really cranking over the water, and that's traditional Lily King stroke. And watch this as we go into the wall.
And just that last little meter, Micah's like, thank goodness I survived that. 2:21.88 is a very good swim for Micah. And 2:22.12, what that means for Lily King is that she gets to swim this race at the World Championships, bumping Bethany Gallett out of the World Championship spot. So you're now looking at the first and second fastest Americans, and I think those are going to be two good representatives. Bethany, unfortunately, is not going to be able to swim it, which ironic because last year she was a silver medalist in the 200 breaststroke. But that's kind of the way it goes. One year, Micah comes back, and she's going to be really strong, and she knows how to swim this race.
She really does, and she's going to be just a force to be reckoned with. And we got to catch up with her right after the race.
From this morning, I got to race Lily in the prelims, and so that gave me a lot of good information. It kind of sounds a little bit clinical, I guess, but the more I race certain competitors, I think the better idea I have of like where I am versus them, or like what might happen you know, in another race with them or something. So this morning when she ran me down on that last 50, I was like, okay, I need to be ready for that. So that was kind of my strategy going into tonight, was like maintain, do the same thing on the first 100, maintain it a little better on the third 50, and then on the fourth 50, instead of trying to up tempo, just really keeping a long stroke and trying to make that, it's kind of my strong point, so it's like just capitalize on that.
It's very important to swim that 200 breaststroke with the right strategy. Again, unlike some of the other strokes, if you go out too hard, you know, breaststroke is really strong on the legs too, and you can really feel the burn, and you feel like you're absolutely going nowhere when you kick. Because it's not like if backstroke and your legs hurt, you can stop kicking and you'll do okay. With breaststroke, if your legs are burning, you have to kick. There's no way around it. You're in the rules. You have to kick. And so if your legs are burning and you go nowhere, then the arms start scrambling, and then you lose your focus, and everybody goes right by you. So I'm really just so happy that Micah was able to stay within her head and keep focus with that. And Lily too. I mean, she swam a smart race. She didn't go out too hard, which you think Lily might do.
Sure.
But she, you know, I think she employed a race strategy I think is going to work for her in a 200. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I love Micah. She's just so great to hear. And she was talking about how clinical it is. But sometimes you almost have to be just a little bit clinical, especially in a 200 breaststroke. Because think about how much you guys have to hold your breath, right? So it's basically like holding your breath and doing jumping jacks at the same time and then coming out and trying to swim as fast as possible. Now, Micah did say that she didn't want to change her stroke, although let me say that I do feel that she was still long, but she did speed it up a little bit. And I don't know if you saw that and if that was maybe something that she didn't realize she was doing.
Well, it was a little bit. And yeah, the last 5-6 strokes, yeah, you do want to pick up the tempo, but she didn't pick it up so much that it looked like she was scrambling. Because, you know, if you scramble and you're in pain, then you go nowhere. If you just keep your stroke and you're in pain, it at least looks good. We don't get style points at swimming, but, you know, at least we can look at everybody and say, yeah, at least it looked good.
Well, so here's the moral of that story, everybody. When you're in pain, smile. Like I do right now.
Yeah.
Kidding, Jeff.
She is not in pain. She's having fun like we are too.
Having so much fun.
So just before we go to break, I just want to quickly touch on the men's 200 breast. No podium finish for the Americans. Josh Pernot was 5th. But again, a learning curve for him. He's going to come back even stronger next year.
Yeah, of course. And that's what these guys and girls do. They're professionals at this. They've been doing this a long time. They know what they need to do. They need to take that film back. They need to watch it with their coach over and over and over, and then train to overcome whatever, I guess, deficiencies, I hate to say that word, that they saw in those races, so that, you know, coming up to World Championships and the Olympics, they're just ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, ready to get on that medal podium.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, it's all about the relays, specifically the medley relays.
I have the right to
respect,
safe relationships, and a positive environment. We stand together.
We are USA Swimming.
As a survivor of abuse, I urge all of us to prevent it in the future and become champions of safe sport.
I've got a great group of guys that I swim with, and I look forward to seeing the guys and laughing around with them and screaming across the pool at each other, stuff like that. That's the fun part for me, and that's kind of why I love coming into the water every single day.
At every international meet, the last events of the meet are the medley relays, and I just love it. The medley relays are always the best place to show each country their strengths and weaknesses. The free relays are always fun. You get to show who your best freestylers are, but this shows you across all 4 strokes who the best country is.
Yeah, and it really is fun to watch. And you know, I remember being a part of some of the greatest medley relays that I believe occurred, and they really are fun. Swimming with some people that you don't swim with on other relays, i.e. the free relays. So it really is cool to do.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those relays. And we're going to start with the women's relay. You see Kathleen Baker, Lily King, Kelsey Dahlia, and Simone Manuel. A great matchup there. And they had a tight race with Japan and Australia. And don't forget Canada down there closest to the screen, who had a great lead off with Kylie Moss, 58.6. And Emily Seabaum and Kathleen Baker didn't have great swims. They were in the 59-second range. So that put the pressure on Lily King here in the breaststroke, and she just took it to the field and gave Kelsey Dahlia a lead. Now, Kelsey Dolly had a lot riding on her because she had to make sure she got a big lead over Australia because Simone's diving in, and right behind her is Kate Campbell, who we know is going to put up something big. Simone's going to put up something big, but can she match what Kate's going to do?
I always think when you have Simone Manuel, though, as your anchor leg, you do have a lot of confidence. However, this time it just turned out that Kate Campbell had just a little bit more left in the tank after the swim meet.
And it was still just a great swim for Simone. 52.22 for Simone. So that's not too bad.
That's great.
Yeah. So 3:53 for the Americans to get silver. 3:52.7 for Australia. Again, a lot of those swimmers, they were swimming earlier in the meet. 3 of the 4 of the Americans were swimming earlier in the day. So, you know, it was really tough for them to have to come back and swim a strong 100. So kudos to them. And in the World Championships, I don't think you really have to worry about that. The Olympics, I think it's only the 50 freestylers that have to come right back and do that relay.
That is correct.
So it's going to be really exciting to see that next year. All right, and here we go with the men's relay. Of course, we're not going to have any of the drama from the free relay. You got Ryan Murphy, Andrew Wilson, Caleb Dressel, and Nathan Adrian. They all know the order and the stroke they're going to swim. And Ryan Murphy, I thought earlier in the meet that when he didn't get his world record in the 100 back, he'd get another chance. But that 200 backstroke took some of the fire out of him. But not with Japan. They were fighting all the way through. They were leading after backstroke. They were leading after breaststroke. And Caleb Dressel, right there for the Americans, doing everything he can. But Japan was so good, they were leading after butterfly. And that means Nathan Adrian, he's got his work cut out for him.
He sure does. But, you know, having Nathan Adrian at the end of your relay is almost like having a Jason Lezak at the end of the relay. You know he is going to do whatever he can to get his hand on the wall first. There are some athletes that may be having a harder time at a meet, but come a relay, they just step up. And I'll tell you what, Nathan Adrian has always been one of those guys. As you can see right here, he keeps gaining and gaining every single stroke.
And that's why I call him Mr. Reliable. You know when you put him on the end of the relay, you know you're going to get good results. And I really have to applaud the coaches for deciding to put him on the end of this relay because they know he's going to step up and deliver. Japan did not make it easy. Look at this. It's really close. It came down to the final stroke, and the winner was the United States. And Nathan's excited. He gets to go home with the Pan Pacific Championships gold medal by 5/100ths of a second. That's exciting.
And that right there, Jeff, is why you want to work on your finishes and practice every single day, every time you hit the wall, because that's what he did. He dove into the wall, and the way he dove, he jammed his hand in there first, and that's why he got the win. It was really, really important.
Yeah, and actually you didn't get to see it there, but the reaction of Nathan when he was out of the water, and he was probably more excited to get that gold medal than I think I've seen him in a long time, maybe since the Olympics and the 400 free relay when the Americans won gold. Yeah. He was really excited. Of course, like we said, he's had some ups and downs, the disqualification yesterday, so he really wanted to make sure the United States came home with a win in that relay, and he delivered. I am just really excited for Nathan, and I really hope this gives him some motivation and encouragement going into the next year, because as we said, he's not going to get to swim the 100 freestyle at the World Championships. He will only get to swim a relay. Now, I wonder if he will accept an invitation to swim it at the Pan American Games, to be able to do an individual 100 free. Right. Like he'll do the relay at World Championships and then go to the Pan American Games and swim 100 free. I don't know. That's a lot of decisions have to be made in the coming weeks.
Right, exactly. But you know, here's the thing. When you travel a lot, you've got some animals and you've got to take care of them. And so the question would be, what would he do with his loves?
Nathan Adrian, what would your cat say about you?
She loves me.
But like, how would she describe you as an owner?
Overbearing. Touchy.
One more word.
I mean, that's about it. I try to spoil her as much as possible because I know she doesn't understand that when I leave, that I'm coming back, you know? Oh. So the time I spend with her, I want to make sure she really knows I love her. So then when I leave for like 3 weeks and she feels abandoned, that like it kind of makes up for it.
Is she naughty when you're gone? I've heard some stories about cats like doing some naughty things when their owners are gone.
She's a perfect angel, but she does destroy stuff when I'm gone.
What is she like when you get back?
Well, she's a cat, so she's a little skittish. She kind of like, she runs away. She like, when you put the keys in the door, she wants to like see you, but she doesn't want you to know that she sees you. So she looks at you, runs away, and then comes back and looks at you again to check you out, like if she recognizes you.
Will you get another cat anytime soon, or do you think that might cause issues?
You know, last night we were forced to answer if you're a cat or dog person. I obviously answer cat, but like my dream situation is that like when I don't have to necessarily travel as much, I get a dog and then like they could be best friends.
Oh, what kind of dog would you get?
Ideally something that doesn't shed.
Yes, same, definitely. Do you already have names kind of picked out for your ideal dog?
I don't have names. No, I just want like. So we were lucky, right? We saved Ash. She was a shelter kitty, but like when you go there, you can kind of tell what the personality will be like. So we got a really playful yet loving cat. I hope that we can do the same with a dog.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. That's something I never really have thought to know about Nathan Adrian.
No, but I love that he loves his animal. But I also love that he wants to get a dog that doesn't shed. But the way that he reacts to his cat is interesting. I know you have a cat too.
Yeah.
And what did you think about that? What he was talking about with his cat?
It's absolutely true.
Right?
You go away and you think that she's being a total beast at home, that she's acting out when you're gone. And then when you come back, she's like, "Oh, you're home. Okay. See you later. I'm going to go off and do what I was doing earlier."
Oh, no.
Yeah, so she's like, "Thanks for coming back and feed me later." That's all they do.
Funny. I also thought it was kind of funny that he was talking about how his cat is a perfect angel when he's gone.
Yes.
But then she destroys everything. So my question is, how are you a perfect angel if you're destroying my stuff?
Because it's like, you know, it's like I guess probably like having a child. You know, the child messes up but can do no wrong. Oh, you're a perfect angel. You're still my perfect angel.
Listen, my dog is a perfect angel, and if he messed up my stuff, he would get a flick to the nose. Like, he knows that stuff. So when I say perfect angel, although he sheds way too much. So that's kind of a problem.
That's what labs do.
Big problem.
I just got to say real quick, to hear Nathan say that his cat is a perfect angel, you don't think of a 50 guy, this big muscular guy saying my cat's a perfect angel. It's just so cute. I adore it. Everybody adores Nathan Adrian, so I think everybody's going to love him even more to hear him say my cat's a perfect angel.
Oh, love it so much. So cute.
All right, so it's just been a really, really fun meet, and that was just a great way to close out the Pan Pacific Championships with a win in that 400 medley relay. And Amy, I've just got to say that all 4 days, even though there have been some swims that weren't spectacular, and then to counterbalance with some swims that were really great, the Americans really stepped up when they really needed to, because the Canadians and Australians, they were on point. And if the Canadians and Australians weren't on point, I think we'd be saying, wow, the Americans are doing so well. But I think, you know, we weren't expecting things like Taylor Ruck to win the 200 free.
Right.
And for Kate Campbell to be almost under 2 seconds in the 100 freestyle.
Right.
So races like that, I think it kind of takes everybody out and say, okay, what's wrong? Why aren't we winning these races? But, you know, they've talked about it endlessly, about the struggles with the time zone, coming off nationals less than 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, it's a learning curve. I bet you they're going to be taking this next probably 11 months, I think, until Worlds, and really understanding what went wrong, not just the swimmers, but the coaches and the executives who make all the decisions in terms of the timeline and everything. And I have no doubt that next year at Worlds, the Americans are going to be on fire.
No, they'll definitely be on fire. And, you know, like you said, the executives have to look at this, like Lindsay Mintenko. And another guy that has to take a look at this is the president and CEO of United States Swimming, Tim Hinchey.
Starts off with an incredible nationals, Phillips 66 Nationals in Irvine. That was a big meet. It's a short training camp, and to fly away to Tokyo and to do so well, it's been an amazing swim meet. The team has really come together. It's led by terrific coaches, veterans, young swimmers. Some of the veterans we know that we can win medals. So it's been a great week so far.
And here's the final medal count for the United States: 17 gold medals, 14 silver, 11 bronze medals, for a total of 45 medals. Now, you think that's a lot, and yes, it is, and we don't win that much at the Olympics or World Championships, but you have to understand, these are just a smaller group of countries. The European Championships didn't compete with the Pan Pacific Championships. You can kind of compare everything back and forth and say, oh, if this were World Championships, the United States might have only won like 12 gold medals or something like that. But it's still a really good tally. They were well ahead of the Australians, who only won 26 medals total. Wow. So almost double what the Australians did. So it's all in all a very good meet.
It was a very, very good meet. And the United States had so many great swimmers, but there has to be one MVP, and guess who it was? Brian Murphy.
It's an incredible achievement, you know, and it's definitely not something I take lightly. There are a bunch of really great competitors here, and you know, they could have given this to anyone. So, you know, it's a great honor to receive this award, and you know, hopefully I can continue to build off this.
Okay, so that was Ryan Murphy getting an award at the meets MVP.
Yes.
Now, among the Americans for the women, who would you say was the American MVP?
Well, I think you have to go with Katie Ledecky, for sure. I mean, she's won her races. She did a great job, and I think she's also a great team leader. I don't know that that counts as the MVP, but if you just look at swimming, I would definitely say Katie Ledecky.
Yeah, I'd say Katie Ledecky, too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. She does, when it's time to step up and win, she always wins. And put the 200 free aside. It did come right after that 1500. But yeah, she always knows how to step up and swim right when it matters. Everybody else does, and I think they take the lead from her. I think if she's having an off meet, you could probably tell that the Americans followed suit. So she kept up on racing when she needed to, and everybody said, if Katie can do this, I can do this for a race that's only 200 meters.
Right, well, exactly, and especially the sprinters. If Katie did that for a mile, I can do that for a 50.
Exactly right, exactly right. Well, that's a great way to conclude this season of swimming. It's been so great to catch up on all the athletes during Deck Pass Live ever since the first Pro Swim Series in Austin. I mean, people we interviewed were on the national. I was thinking these guys have a shot of getting on the Pan Pac team. The outside shot, but they have a shot, like Justin Wright and Blake Pironi, Andrew Wilson, who I was just like, this guy is the future of breaststroke and swimming. We got to interview him. And it's just been so great to talk with them. And so thank you to everybody for all the guests we had on the show throughout the whole season since January. And we want to thank all the people who were here in Colorado Springs these past 4 days working with us. Our director, Chris Douglas, our producer, Jeff Kibler, Joel Stauffer, our IT guy here at USA Swimming, Larry, our chief engineer, just a great group of
group of people. But you can't forget the people that, of course, helped us out there in Japan. We got Clint Siriaco, Naila Timberlake, and, of course, we got John Martin. You guys, thank you so much for doing such amazing work. You make us hopefully look good. Thank you so much.
And we don't want to forget everybody else here who was behind the cameras here. Matt, Noah, Ben, Isaac, Sierra, you guys rock. We could not do this without you. Obviously, we can't do it without. We'd just be sitting at a desk and just talking to ourselves is what we would be doing if you guys weren't here.
So thank you guys so much. You guys are the utmost professionals. It's been amazing working with you. So thank you. See you next year for sure.
And I want to thank you, Schmoopy, for joining me. It's been fun.
It has been, Schmoopy. I love you.